Hi, my wife and I have seen you from across the bar.
We like your vibe.
Right, we've spent all day arguing or discussing with people about the grazing idea, about Paul's lunchbox. I've never thought my husband's lunchbox would be quite as contentious. So I thought, rather than doing a big post, which people won't read, we'll do a quick video just explaining the idea behind the lunchbox and why he does it, and I'm here to hand operate him so you can speak, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, because Paul doesn't like talking to camera, as we've just learned many times, I'm going to ask questions in the style of an interviewer.
Sure,
okay?
sure.
Right. So, Paul, love.
Yes.
What was your previous lunch problem? What problems did you have, especially at work, with lunch?
Main problem with lunches is I've never been the type of person that will prepare the day before. I just can't do it. I'll never do it. I'd much prefer to have the extra 10 minutes in bed if I was going to do it in the morning as well. So I'd always end up going to the canteen or going to the shops and just buying a load of crap, and I'd have one giant meal full of rubbish, and I'd feel tired and sleepy and shite for the rest of the day, and I'd spend a fortune.
You really would spend a fortune. That was the worst part.
But the worst point was the sluggishness. I'd have it and I just couldn't do anything for the rest of the day because I'd be falling asleep.
Yeah, because he's very much a person who'll have a big dinner and then 20 minutes later, when it comes to the washing up, he'll be fast asleep on it.
I like to binge. I like the feeling of being full, but I'd take it too far, which is why I got in the situation I did.
That is true. Yeah. And you lost all the weight.
Yeah.
And we sorted out that the eating at home side of things was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But it was still lunch that was a problem.
I still have the same problem. I'd still go out and I'd buy a load of shit. And that's where I was going wrong. That's where I was falling off. I was still going to the canteen and just buying too much of the bad stuff. And still not really feeling that satisfied.
So, Paul, what did you do to overcome this?
Well, I started packing. I don't really know how I started off doing it, but I just packed a lunchbox one day and it had lots of little things that I'd had out and about at the shops. And it worked really well. And I managed to find enough of I try to eat as much protein as I can because protein stops you feeling hungry. And also I'm trying to build a bit of muscle. So I've got quite a few proteiny things. And then I figured out that if I had enough in the box, I could have one thing an hour. Each thing was big enough to stop me feeling hungry, but small enough for me not to feel sluggish. And I started doing that, and within 2-3 days, I just felt like I'd had it cracked.
But it's important to say that you were calorie counting at this point.
Yes. By that point, I was calorie counting. So, yeah.
For lunches, you were aiming for around about how many calories?
Well, I kind of have my breakfast and my lunch together, and I aim for 500 calories each, but it's kind of broken down as 200 for breakfast and then 800 or so for lunch. But I try to average out 500 calories per meal. We
do want to say at this point, Paul has a significantly high daily calorie amount.
I'd say it was significantly high.
It is pretty high.
I've got that male privilege. I've got higher calories because I'm a bloke, but also I walk the dog, I do HIIT, I do rugby, I do quite a lot of exercise, so it feeds into it. If I wasn't exercising as much, my calorie allowance would be much lower.
Basically, he's health now.
I'm health now.
And obviously, people's calorie counts will be different depending on your height, your weight, your activity levels, and the kind of job you do, how long you're up in the day.
So if you're going to do this, scale it for your own needs.
Yes. Don't be looking, this is an important thing, don't be looking at Paul's lunchbox and thinking, well, I want to eat all that, but I can't eat all that. Them's the breaks.
I'm a hungry boy.
He is a hungry boy. He likes saying that. So, Paul is going to show you an example. Sorry, the dog just sighed really loudly. Paul's going to show you an example of what's in his lunchbox.
Yeah, so I work 9 to 5. I try to have one thing an hour, roughly. So I've got a bit of IBS, so breakfast is always quite difficult for me. So I normally start off with a milkshake or a kefir or something milky, something yogurty. That usually goes down quite well. Just a little bottle. So at 9 o'clock, I usually have this. And then the rest of the day, I just pick at what I like. I like to have a mixture of sweet and a mixture of savoury so that I can tailor it to whatever I fancy of the day. But typically at around 10 o'clock, I might treat myself to a little bar of chocolate. It's 20 grams of Kinder, delicious chocolate. Gets to 11 o'clock and I'll have a little block of cheese. Again, it's only 20-30 grams. What are you laughing at?
12 would usually follow.
12 will usually follow.
Basically, on the hour, he has a
on the hour,
snack.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't need to go through in order. We'll just say what's in
but this is the kind of routine I've gone into, but you do have the flexibility of having whatever you want. So 12 o'clock I have as my big ticket item, which is usually something like this. This is a bit of pepperoni and some cheese.
But Paul, that's processed food.
It is processed, but I like it and it's convenient and it's full of protein. But I might have some chicken, I might have some falafel, I might have an egg.
Yeah. Well, he does have an egg.
Well, I do have an egg.
Little boiled egg.
I do have a little snack boiled egg.
Just returning to the processed food point. There is, fair enough. There's an argument to be made that having processed food in your lunchbox it's not ideal. Anything cooked fresh is always going to be better. There's no argument there. But not every single person has time to fart about in the morning making fresh food to go in a lunchbox. People might not have the inclination. They might not have the help. They might not even have just the want to do it. People need snacks. People need convenience. And in an ideal world, absolutely, we'd all do the right thing. But let's be realistic. None of us has the time to do this all the time.
Well, here's the thing. I do have the time, and I do have the skills, and I do have the equipment. I just can't be asked. So for me, it's easier just to do that, just to buy things like this. But I do prepare like a bit of tuna or whatever. But this is just the kind of thing I sometimes have.
And we got called out. People saying, you're a weight loss page, which we're not, and you're a healthy eating page, which we're not exclusively. You shouldn't be promoting this kind of processed stuff. We cook our evening meals from scratch every single night. Yeah. So we have a home-cooked meal every single night. Normally on a weekend, we have home-cooked lunches and stuff like that. This is very much a kind of stopgap in between those. So we do eat healthfully, as you can see by our recipes and our books and the blog. But,
Yes, it's not actually that processed. I think it just looks like it because of the packaging.
So basically, calm your tits.
Yeah, calm your fucking tits. Right. I've also got things like yogurt. This is a Greek yogurt with honey. Life's too short for fat-free yogurt.
Absolutely.
And then usually a cereal bar or a Nutri-Grain or something like that.
Because they're very good at
filling you up. They're tasty. They're often cheap. You can get like a box for £1.
Quite good slow-release energy.
Quite good. Yeah. Science.
See, I'm not just a pretty face.
And then some fruit. I've got an apple and orange here. I might have a banana, I might have grapes, might have melon, whatever tickles my fancy.
Whatever tickles these fancy. Whatever we get from Tesco's.
Exactly. Or Asda's. And then, that just takes me through for the whole day. So every hour I'll have something. If I'm not at my desk at the hour, it means I get to have extra when I come back. And that works quite well because sometimes, a little binge is quite nice.
So, the reason we kind of wanted to do this, and the reason we post these every day, is partly to show it's a good idea, also to show what Paul eats, but also like trying these different little snacks if you prefer. It's giving other people inspiration on what they may put in their lunchbox, and it could be that they make a homemade wrap or a lovely salad, and this is like a little extra to go in there. And there's no harm in that because ultimately, with calorie counting, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, very, very likely you will lose weight. And yes, there are better things to eat and there are worse things to eat, but it's all about a balance, and there is nothing off limits. And that's right, isn't it?
This works for me. Might not work for you, but it might.
That's the main thing. And that's what we are very much about, Two Chubby Cubs.
Find your groove.
Yeah, whatever works for you. So whether it's Slimming World, whether it's Weight Watchers, calorie counting, as long as it's not Juice Plus or some other tap like that, as long as whatever plan works for you. And I think that's everything that needs to be said.
Yeah, I really like this because the flexibility. I can go to different supermarkets, try lots of different things.
There you go. Nothing else to be said.
It's quite nice going for lunch and thinking and having like a white choice of something to have.
All right, we're trying to wrap up here, man. Yeah. Right, so anyway, who knew my husband's lunchbox would be that contentious? But I hope this has explained a few things. And if you have any questions, please do feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you've got any feedback, always do like to hear them. But if you are just giving us feedback to tell us what we're doing wrong, all I'm saying is look how skinny he is. He's skinny. Don't look at me, he's skinny.
Also, people asking about my lunchbox. It's dead cheap. It's from Amazon. It's really good. We'll put a link in the comments.
I really want to put like a little photograph of me looking like this.
Ed the dog.
He won't let me. Mean spirit get. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.